Alrighty. I think, did you get a notice that I'm recording?
Yes, I
Yeah,
accept it.
perfect. Perfect. All right. So this process is pretty easy. So I'm going to search for the database, UWIN database login, and then actually you click this one. So this is the actual link directly logging into the database. So in the information I'm going to send you, this link will be provided to you, right? And then I'm going to upload this video to the YouTube, and on the description, I will add this link as well, right?
Okay.
So right now you won't be able to log in, so don't try to do it with me because I haven't added you yet. I will immediately
Okay.
after this meeting, right? So I'm going to provide you access through BSU, right? And but if you prefer to use a private Gmail, let me know that.
Okay.
Right? In that case, I will only add your private Gmail. Just to make things easy at my end, I will only do one or the other. The reason you need to be careful about that is this database you are logging into is Gmail based. So if you actually have a private Gmail account that by default you are logged on to, um, when you try to log into the database, it will forcefully try to log you through your private Gmail. And if I only have access for you through BSU, you're kind of, you would go like, why is this happening to me? Why can't I log in? Right? So because of that, if you have a private Gmail you frequently use, shoot me an email with that right after
Okay.
our meeting, right? I will add access to that. Just clarify that by the end of the day for me. It
Okay.
doesn't matter to me, but just we shouldn't have any like conflicting accounts that will be problematic.
Okay.
Now, all right, yeah. Um, and now you're actually in the web page, the website where you are going to do photo classification. So what you do is when you log into this one first, you will go to classify, right? When you hit classify, you are going to see a bunch of entries like this, which actually are the photos assigned to you. So I am actually going to demonstrate this, some photos I assigned myself. So when you log in, your screen will exactly look like this, right? So here, just to give you some description about what you're looking at over here. This is the name of the group. There is a meaning behind that group, but it is not really important for you to understand, right? Um, this tells you the date the photographs were taken, and this shows you the number of photos that has been taken, right? So I'm going to keep the number of photos per batch around 40 or less, never over 50, right? Because there's a reason I'm making it simple. So when you're ready to classify, what you need to do is you just hit classify. Oh, before that, make sure you are using Google Chrome as your browser. Other browsers might give you a problem. Since you're using an iPad, you may by default use Safari. I recommend against it. It'll work, but you might get into some trouble down the road, right? Trouble in the sense technical trouble. You hit classify, right? Just let's go back. You hit classify, and then it will open up by default one photo at a time from that batch. The fun part is actually if you wanted to tag one photo at a time, it's possible. So I'm going to do that first as a quick demonstration, right? Couple of times I will show you one photograph at a time, right? Nothing wrong with that, but it's going to take time. So here you can see clearly that's a white-tailed deer that you see in that photograph. It's a nighttime photograph. So nighttime photographs are black and white. Daytime photographs are colored. So you're going to, even if you just type white, right? You actually, it prompts up what species are under that particular letters, right? So you actually hit white-tailed deer, select that one. Number of individuals, you only see one. If you see two, don't bother updating the two, right? We really don't care about how many individuals you see. We only care about how many, what species there is, right? Details, again, my previous students actually write, oh, have antlers, do not have antlers. That details are also less relevant to us because we only worry about what species you see. And then you hit next, right? So again, you see a white-tailed deer, you do the same thing and hit next, right? But as you can realize, it's a lot of work to do one by one, right? So what I actually recommend, is doing something called batch tagging, right? So it's pretty easy. What you do is you hit this second button from the left, your left, or the screen's left, and when you hit it, it will upload 3 photos, right? So to make this more effective, what you should do is keep loading all the photos by repeatedly clicking this button which says load more photos. So, right. And I keep hitting it, scroll down, and keep clicking load more photos. Now, once you load all the photos in that batch, that button grays out, that link grays out. Then you know you have loaded all the photos. Now let's scroll back to the top. Let's scroll up and down and see what animals are almost always going to be in that photograph. Seems like all of those photographs have white-tailed deer, right? If you scroll up and down, you are going to see that. So what I'm going to do is actually, since all of them are white-tailed deer, I am going to group more than one more than one photo as white-tailed deer. I will show you how to do that. You scroll to the bottom and you select the link, select a range of photos, right? Once you click that, it tells you select the starting photo. So I want to start with this photo. That's a white-tailed deer. And then I noticed that all the photos have a white-tailed deer, right? If you're not quite clear that it is a white-tailed deer or not, what you do is you click this link which says view, then it actually zooms in. And if you want to zoom in more, what you do is you click your control button and the scroll up button. Now this is for the Windows computers, right? There could be equal similar buttons on your laptop or on your Mac devices. So I'm clicking control and the scroll up of the mouse button at the same time. Now these are additional features that you can benefit from. You don't need to use these additional features um, to contribute to this project, right? So I have already selected the first one. I still haven't selected the last one, right? So if you scroll towards the end, it says select the end photo. So it seems like all the photos have white-tailed deer. So for the ending photo, I just click the very last photo that has white-tailed deer. And when you do that, all the photos get selected, as you can see here, right? Now what I do is I have to ID the species. Okay, like before, I just type white. Even before I complete typing white, that white deer pops up. I select that one, and then that is the old species I see, so I hit submit. And it asks me, are you sure you want to submit your detections of the entire group? I say yes. And it actually automatically submits everything, right? Now, let's take another batch, right, and see what you saw over there. And again, I'm going to go to batch tagging, right? It seems like we have something very similar. So I'm going to keep uploading all the photos again, right? Now let's see whether we actually have what species we have. Um, Here in this one, you see 2 individuals, but both of them appear to be white-tailed deer. Um, let's, for the sake of argument, assume um you only want to classify first the images with a single white-tailed deer, right? Let's assume that's what you want to do here, right? So what you do is, again, you have loaded all the photos. You keep just clicking on the photos with a single white-tailed deer. I'm skipping this one because this has 2, and let's assume I cannot see the second one very well. So that's why I am not doing it, right? And again, over here, I I keep selecting, just clicking the mouse over the ones that have just a single deer, right? And then I type over here, white-tailed deer, and then I hit submit, right? Now, it will start back with the photos that I have not tagged, right? So this one, what you see is actually two white-tailed deers. Now you can clearly see it's two white-tailed deers. If you are not sure, you can click zoom to photo. Take a look at that. Well, you are sure white-tailed deer. If you wanted to, like, shut down this open window, you just click outside. And now since you know this is white-tailed, what you do is either you type white-tail over here or you say use previous photos tag, right? Which automatically populates a white-tailed deer. And then you hit save and next. Again, it's a white-tailed deer, right? You use a previous photos tag, right? Let's say over here, another way is you can type and hit next, right? So let's keep tagging the ones over here, right? It's white-tailed deer as well. That's white-tailed deer as well. That's also white-tailed deer until you tag all of them. Now let's assume you see another species, right? You actually have a white-tailed deer, and then let's say there was another species, a different species. You click add another detection and type in what that particular species is, and then you hit that, right? Again, you see two white-tailed deers. That's the same, right? Now, since you're realizing that it is white-tailed deer over and over and over, right? You can actually go for even again going back and batch tagging, but let me do that in another demonstration, right? This is also white-tailed, right? And now these ones you have already tagged. You can just keep save and click, make sure there is no other species on the photograph that you can see. And last one, I added a tag and it asked me whether I want to complete submitting it, right? So now you cannot skip a photograph without tagging. You have to tag something, right? Now those are two different ways of tagging, right? Let's see another way. Let's see if we have, okay, this is a day photograph, which is actually pretty cool. Let's do batch tagging, right? Let's keep adding more photos. Now deer is easy. It's big. You have seen deer more than enough time. I think that is me or one of my students. Not sure. Let's see. So now let's start. I can't see anything right in this photo, right? So I'm going to actually click Viv and see if I do see anything at all. Well, I don't. But if I see the second photograph, I actually see it's really cool. There are two gray squirrels. One of them is carrying fruits, seeds over here in his mouth. There are two of them. Those are eastern gray squirrels, right? I'll close them and see what else I see. This one, don't see much. That's a squirrel. If I keep, that's a squirrel again. That's a squirrel again. So it seems like many of those photos actually have a eastern gray squirrel. So but it's a small animal, so I cannot see that in like this thumbnail, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Viv, select photo, hit next. Don't see anything. Don't see anything. Oh, there you go. Select photo by clicking selected, right? Let's go over here. And if you were to accidentally click select photo, click that again, it will get deselected, right? Let's go back. That's an eastern gray squirrel over here. Select, 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 next, select, next, select, next, select, next, next. That's actually apparently me or someone else who's working in my lab. There is a gray squirrel over there, right? Jumping over here, right? Still, that's over here. Still over there. Still, it's there. Still, the little bugger is there. Right now, I went through all the photos and selected everything with eastern gray squirrel. So I close it by clicking the close link and then type eastern gray squirrel. Here's that species. I don't care about the individuals, and then hit submit. Now, it's going to make me go through the photos that I did not ID, right? So let's do batch tag. And this time, let's batch tag photos with humans, right? I keep loading all the photos again, right? So I want to now, I see 3 photographs clearly with humans. And what I have to do is simply I select by clicking them, right? 1, 2, 3, right? And then over here, type H human, right? And hit that. Again, there are a few more photos that is not tagged. So I'm going to do batch tagging again, right? I'm going to load more photos, right? And now what I'm going to do is I am going to look at these empty photos, right? That one is seem to be empty, right? That one is not empty. That one isn't empty either. Let me see a photo that is actually empty. This, let me see, seem to be empty, right? So I select that. I select those 2 photos that I think it is empty and type EM, right? And then it says empty and submit, right? So now I'm going to scroll one by one to make sure I'm not missing anything. This one I seem to have missed, and this seem to be empty. So I'm going to type empty, save next. This one is seem to be also empty. I will use the previous tag again, just making sure there is nothing around, right? And that's already tagged. This one seem to be also empty. So I type empty, and then I go back. This one again empty. Eastern gray squirrel, they are already tagged, right? And human, 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 eastern gray squirrel. And I'm quickly going through because I know, and there is an eastern gray squirrel that I missed before. So I'm going to type eastern gray squirrel here, and I'm done. So I hit yes. Okay, let's take a look at this very last one and see whether we can see a different animal, right? I do not see any different animal in those ones, so there is no point of going over them again with you because it will be the same animals you have seen so far. Um, Now let's say you have seen a coyote, but you are not sure whether it's a coyote or not, right? Whether it's a coyote or a green or a red fox, right? So if you go into eMammals website, eMammals, right? Just Google search eMammals, and that is the link I'm looking for. Click that link. Click view photos, right? And type the animal that you suspect it is, right? Let's say red fox, right? Common species name, apply. And if you wanted to actually select, better to select the area, North America, because, there could be a red fox in red foxes occur in other continents. Let's look at something that's similar to us. So here it will show you multiple photographs of eastern red foxes. Under night, how they look like. You click on the link on the top, it will show you a clearer photograph, right? Again, over here, it's a day and night. It's a day photograph, right? So you can take a look at how these animals look like, right? We don't have a whole lot of animals. If you go back to my photos, right? If you like scroll down over here, I have already populated possible species that we are going to encounter. Um, and if you couldn't identify anything, right? So birds, actually, I have put birds' names over there. I don't want you to trouble about birds, right? I am just fine if you go by bird over here. If you see a bird, that's more than enough. Bat, just go by bat. That's more than enough. Um, And all the other actual mammals, I have listed all the possible mammals that we can encounter, so you don't have to worry about anything. And if you cannot ID um, a particular species you see, if you type unknown, UN, select unknown mammal if you cannot identify it, right? And yeah, that is as simple as that. Um, so that's a quick crash course to show you how to do the IDing, right? Um, on this particular website. So that is actually the number one task. That is the biggest task that you will be doing, right? Any questions regarding that task? Anything I want that you think I should show you again, or any questions?
Um, no, I believe it's very simple.
Oh
I
yeah.
think I should be able to manage that. Um,
And since you have actually my text, let's say that's something you struggle, take a photograph on screen, just send it to me,
okay,
right? Another thing I want to mention is when you do classifying, it's easier if you complete a certain batch in one sitting,
okay.
right? You don't lose your data if you like exit, but it's inconvenience at your end to come back. Oh, where did I stop? Like that kind of things, right? So you don't have to complete all the batches in one city. No, just complete one batch, at least one batch in one sitting, right? And so yeah, the task is very simple, easy, and it is kind of fun because you see these buggers doing like weird stuff, ranging from eating to having sex. So yeah, it's pretty fun. And good. So the next part is actually I do want to ask you on your laptop, on your device that you are using right now, do you have Google Drive installed?
I don't,
Okay.
but I
So
can do that. I have that on my laptop, not on my tablet. I mean my iPad.
perfect. Perfect. So we had some struggle with my previous student when we tried to install Google Drive on iPads. It worked, but we actually had some like struggle that, like we had to, painfully go through. So it was not enjoyable to be honest with you because of that. But if your laptop already have your laptop is Mac or
I have a Dell.
sorry,
I have a
Dell,
Dell. Yes.
those works perfectly fine. Those PC types work perfectly fine. Um, Now that part, how to use the Google Drive, I will show you that easily when we actually have our first data collection done, or whenever we have a let me actually stop recording over here. Um and